Hi class, today we are going to read chapter 9 from Midnight on the Moon. Chapter 9 is titled Morgan. But before we read chapter 9, I'm going to quickly summarize chapter 8. So Jack and Annie placed the map on the M and the Pennsylvania book did not appear. So they realized that map was not the fourth M thing. So they looked at the map and there were stars. So they decided to connect the stars and realized that the fourth M thing was mouse. Morgan appeared and Peanut disappeared. Morgan was Peanut. So chapter 9, let's sing. Jack and Annie, Jack and Annie, Jack and Annie, Jack and Annie, and their adventures. Morgan. Thank you, Morgan said softly. You have freed me from the magician's spell. Jack just stared at her. You were Peanut? Annie said. Morgan nodded and smiled. Really? You were with us all the time? Said Jack. On our missions? Morgan nodded again. Why did we have to go on this mission to find a mouse? Said Jack. If you were always with us. To break the spell, we had to be on the moon, said Morgan. You could have broken it the minute we arrived. Oh, that's why Peanut, you were trying to say, said Annie. We didn't have to leave the moon base at all. Morgan nodded, smiling. But the moon man came along to help us, said Annie. He drew a constellation of a mouse. Is he a friend of yours? Morgan shrugged. Let's just say we had a little talk. He stopped by the moon base while you were out. The same way you had a talk with the ninja master, right? Said Jack. And the monkey and the sorcerer? Morgan nodded. I always squeak to the ones who helped you. But how did they understand you? A mouse, said Jack. Morgan smiled again. Certain wise ones understood the language of little creatures, she said. I bet it was you who turned the pages of the book, said Annie, to show us where to go next. Morgan nodded. But who turned you into a mouse? Said Annie. Morgan frowned. A certain person who likes to play tricks on me, she said. His name is Merlin. Merlin? Said Jack. The greatest magician who ever lived? Morgan sniffed. He's not that great, she said. He doesn't even know I have two brave friends who help me. Us? Said Annie shyly. Morgan nodded. And I thank you both with all my heart. You're welcome, said Jack and Annie. Morgan handed Annie the Pennsylvania book. Are you ready to go home now? She asked. Yes, said Jack and Annie. Annie pointed to the picture of Frog Creek Woods. I wish we could go there, she said. The treehouse started to spin. It spun faster and faster and faster. Then everything was still. Absolutely still. But only for a moment. All right, let's write. So there are several things that we could write about. So let's just kind of summarize chapter 9. So they had to be on the moon base to break the spell, right? Well, the moon to break the spell. Merlin put Morgan under a spell. Morgan gave Annie the Pennsylvania book. And they wished to go to Frog Creek Woods, right? Those were the things that happened. So I think we need to write, Merlin put Morgan under a spell. So let's grab our pencil and let's do our message. So the message will be Merlin put Morgan under a spell. Merlin put Morgan under a spell. That's what we found out, that the magician, he liked to play mean tricks and he put Morgan under a spell. So chunky monkey, right? We're going to clap the syllables. Merlin. Merlin. 2 chunks. So let's do the first chunk. And Merlin is a name, so we're going to give capital M, right? First name. E-R makes Mer. That's the first chunk. And the second chunk is Lin. L-in. L like lion. like igloo, I. N like nest. Make sure the I goes all the way down. All right. Merlin, put, 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 p. Remember the P goes past the line, lowercase p. Oops. Put, you. Put, T, like tiger. Merlin, put Morgan. Now Morgan is a name too, so capital N, and we can chunk her name. Morgan. Right, so 2 syllables. More, M, or, O-R. Gan, G, A, N. That's the second chunk. G, G, like goose. G, A, like apple. Morgan, N, and like nest. Merlin, put Morgan under. Under is our fight word, U-N-D-E-R. Under, U-N-D-E-R. But we can also chunk that. Under. 2 chunks. U, like umbrella. And like nest. Under. That's the second chunk. D, D, like dinosaur. E-R. Merlin, put Morgan under a, just a spell. Sp, e, o. Sp, e, o. Sp, S-P. Sp, e. E makes e. O. 2 L's. Morgan put Merlin under a spell. All right, you choose a sentence that you want to write on your own about chapter 9.